What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Shoe Booty Sports Tuesday night. This is your host, Graham Powell, right here on this screen. That's co-host Bradley Brown on the other screen, and a strangely looking familiar setting as to this one. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
We got a few things happening here and there. First, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com. Under the Submit Results section, once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. You can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, y'all, and follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, so a pretty big time football game, video game, came back from the dead last week? NCAA 25, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a franchise that we thought was just done because of the whole lawsuits between the NCAA and players and compensation or lack thereof, the whole mess there. Ever since NIL became a thing, another mess resulted from that we're experiencing today. But we did get the college football video game back, and I don't know that there's really a difference, except that you can actually put the players' names on there now. Like that's probably what the only difference is. Rather than just having their numbers, you can actually put their names on everything, and instead of like the last NCAA football game that I owned, video game, was the one with Darren McFadden on the cover. What was that? 2009?
Yeah, was it that long ago? Yeah, probably.
I mean, it had to be.
Yeah.
It was like NCAA football 08 or 09. Might have been 08. I don't remember, but that's the last one that I owned. I mean,
It
because it
was the
was Darren
first year you
McFadden.
could it was the first year you could play online against other people, I believe. Was McFadden's cover.
I think you're right because I do remember taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
Sitting there in my living room on Duncan Street in Fayetteville, playing that game way too often. That and Madden. I remember playing Madden. Yes, because you could, I believe, you could finish like your career and then carry it over into Madden.
Yeah.
Uh, I think you could do that for a while at that point, but I don't know what all they do now. I'm sure it's still some very cool options, and I'm sure way better probably in a lot of ways. But at the time, that was some pretty high tech stuff for us. That's the last one that I owned. It was a lot of fun. Spent way too many hours on it. Um, I know some people that got this game and celebrated like the same way, if not more, the same as they would have like back when we were playing back in that time period when we had time to do that. These are grown men with like wives and kids and stuff, and they were very excited about it. I haven't had a video game system in years, well over a decade. There was a period I broke out my PS2 because I was going through a lot of stuff, and I found it, and I was like, it was real dusty, and I was like, well, let's just see if it works, and I plugged it in. Then I went for like a month playing it, and then it just wasn't working right, and then I goodwilled it or something like that, and that's the only thing I've played since. You had something, a PS. Did you have a PS3, 4 when you lived in Conway?
Yeah, I had a PS4. I still have it. I play every now and then. I'll play some Call of Duty, but I've been holding off. I'm gonna hold off a little bit to buy this game though. It's going to be a big time waste, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for it.
If you're ever going to do it, though, it isn't that because you do have some free time these days.
Yeah, I do.
Uh, but is that how you want to spend it? guess is the
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
that could be a rabbit hole that you don't come out of.
no, it's too. I mean, too many nights staying up till 3, 4 in the morning playing those games in the past. It's an easy road to go down. I don't know if I'm ready for it.
It was so fun. Like
Oh,
I I don't have the time or really even the energy to purchase a game like that, or heck, even the money right now. Because I'd have to get the whole console and everything, whatever I'd get. What would I even get? Would I, if I were to go into that market, what would I go for? Is PS5 like the top notch thing right now?
yeah, you go for a PS5 or a Xbox One, or I don't know what they call the new one, but yeah, you go for either of those two.
Yeah, an Xbox 360 was the last thing that I owned. It was an Xbox 360. Did they go? So it's what, Xbox One is the new one. I knew that. Haven't played one. So we're really speaking about stuff that we really don't know anything about anymore.
No,
But will you? I would play the game if somebody had it, like, and I would play it like on a Saturday or something. That'd
yeah,
be the only time I would do it, like right now. And I don't have enough of a social life right now to make that even a thing, or even want to necessarily. But if somebody I knew had it and it was right there, I would say, yeah, let's play a game. Like, but I guess I mean, it's cool that it's back either way, even though I'm not going to have anything to do with it. It's cool to see that it's back. It's one of those. I mean, my first football game I ever owned was Madden '94, I
sweep
think.
right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say sweep right with Emmett Smith. You take it to the house almost every time.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, the Cowboys were the best team then, so that was usually who I played with, just because I mean, you wanted to win. You completed maybe one pass out of like 20. Now, granted, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I mean, maybe there was a way to complete passes better, but it was impossible. It was so hard to complete a pass on that game. Your passing percentage had to be like 8%
Yeah.
completion percentage now.
Oh, I played Madden '94 like a couple of months ago on my Super Nintendo, and it's still ridiculously hard to complete a pass.
Now, how did you have it on Super Nintendo? Now, I played it on Sega Genesis. So for any of you that I'm sure some of our listeners do not know what a Sega Genesis is. It was definitely Madden '94. I'm looking up the cover now. I remember it like it was 2 months ago. We were living in the house on Fairview in Lone Oak, 1203 Fairview. It was a red house, red brick house that is now like an ugly beige. But it's still because I ran by that house a month or two ago just to do it. Yeah, but it was at that house. I remember being in the kitchen and my dad, my mom, and I'm with my mom in the kitchen there at my very first house I lived in Lone Oak. And dad comes home from work and he has a bag and he has something in his hand. And I can't remember if he took it out of the bag and handed it to me, but I just remember him clearly handing me like that Sega Genesis hard case. It's like a 5 by 8, 5 1/4 by 8 book length case, and hands it to me. And it's John Madden there on the cover, Madden '94, and I was as excited as could be. It wasn't a special occasion or anything like that. Just the video game had come out. Dad knew I love sports, love football, and here you go, son. And I was stoked. It was awesome. Like you said, sweep right. Emmitt Smith got 1 billion yards, and this is also the era when kids grew up wanting to be running backs too.
Yeah.
Like not quarterbacks, like you wanted to be a running back because everybody ran the football. I mean, that was primarily how you move the ball. So I mean, it was a big deal then. It's cool that the game's back. I couldn't tell you anything about it. We're basically just touching up on the history of our football playing days, but as in video game football playing days. But it's cool that it's back. I'm sure it's got. I know a girl. I'm friends with a girl. I'm friends. I'm Facebook friends with her just because we were acquaintances, and she has a kid that is a wide receiver for Tulane, and she was talking about how neat it was that her son was on the video game. I mean, he was right there on the video game. I mean, that's pretty badass. That is neat. Like you're gonna have that forever. Like, hey, tell your kids, grandkids, like that's me right there.
Yeah.
That is neat. So cool that the game is back because not everybody's gonna go to the NFL. Um, yeah, this kid included. You know, he's not going to play at the next level, so that's something that they're always going to be able to have and show off. So very neat that the game is back. Might play it sometime when I'm around somebody that has all the things and I have time to play it. So basically, my chances of playing it are very slim to none. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll be around it and see what happens. All right, so what do you think? I don't know if they do team ratings or anything like that on there. What do you think Arkansas would be on that?
Like a 78.
You think they'd be that high?
I'm being generous.
I was gonna say I don't know if they would be that high. We don't have to go down that road. We'll talk about
Uh,
Arkansas here in a
they
little
had,
bit.
I think they had seen a sneak preview. I think they had LSU as like an 88. So,
Well, LSU's better though. I mean, they're a lot
oh
better.
yeah, of course.
I don't think that they wouldn't put them in the 60s. They wouldn't disrespect them like that. But I would say probably like a 72. I think would be a more realistic
Dang,
grade.
a C minus. Yeah, it's about what we gave them for the season last year. So
Is it? Is that what we did? I can't even recall. What did they even win? 4 games? Did they win 4 games last year? I don't remember. It was kind of a blur just because I blocked so much
probably
of it
won
out.
five, maybe.
Maybe they were so frustrating to watch though that the Auburn game in particular. I turned it off at by I think the start of the second half. It was yeah. Let's not go down that road. I don't want to do that to myself tonight.
Don't go down that route.
I'll go down that road. A lot of history on that road. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Maybe one of
Pet
them.
South Park Pet Cemetery reference. There you go. A lot of history on that road. All right, so it's still fun. It's still fun to do. Oh, Mr. Michael, guys. Oh, hey. All right. Okay, let's move on. So the WNBA All-Star game was this past weekend. It was Saturday night. I actually got to watch it. I spent most of my Saturday afternoon and early evening working on my mower and had no success with it. Just angered me and pissed me off and partially ruined my night. But it's okay. I got it to my uncle the next day. He was kind enough to come get it, and he's going to fix it for me, putting a new carburetor on it. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to leave that one alone too, just like the Razorbacks last season. But point being, I was finished with it for the night, and I go inside, I turn the TV on, and there's the WNBA All-Star game. They are playing Team USA. They're playing the Olympic team that the WNBA has put together, just the women's national team, going up against the WNBA All-Stars. So it's basically whoever wasn't good enough to make I'm using quotation marks for those of you not watching on Spotify and YouTube. Whoever wasn't good enough to make the women's national team instead played on the WNBA All-Star team, and those two played each other. And this is the format that they used for the last Olympics too, or before the last Olympic Games too in 21. I didn't know this because I wasn't watching the WNBA then.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, but it was a really good game. I turned it on in this. It was the second quarter. Like they had just started the second quarter. I think Team USA was up 2, and that's how it went into halftime. Team USA was up 2, and then the WNBA All-Stars separated themselves in the third quarter, got control of it, took the lead, and then it was really all them up until the very end of the game. Team USA came back and made it respectable. Like this, they cleaned up the margin, but the WNBA All-Star team worked them. I mean, they were up 20 points at one point in the fourth quarter.
Dang.
Like I said, Team USA cleaned up the margin at the end just to make it look a little better. But that was a very fun, exciting game to watch. It was competitive as hell. It was light years better than the NBA All-Star game. Now, the WNBA, they played to their strength. They're like, well, we have this opportunity to do this. We're in mid-season right now, and they do get a long break, like a month off essentially. So players like Caitlin Clark, who've just been running to the ground for the last year, really, she has had no time off. They're finally going to get some rest and or relaxation time with the Olympics going on. These are those that didn't make Team USA, obviously. But yeah, they Team USA got worked by the WNBA All Stars, and it was comprised. The WNBA All Stars was comprised of a lot of rookies, a lot of superstar rookies. Uh, Arike Ogunbowale, I think I said that right. How in the hell she did not make the Team USA Olympic team is beyond me. She led the game with like 34 points, and she scored all of them in the second half. I mean, just absolutely worked Team USA. She got snubbed the first or the last time, uh, the last Olympics, she was snubbed from Team USA. And they said that this time too. Like before all this, Charles Barkley said how she didn't make the team is essentially beyond me. And after seeing her play in that All-Star game, I don't see how in the world she got left off that team. Caitlin Clark had a terrible night shooting. She was 0 for shooting from the floor. Now, from 3-point range, she did make a layup, but I think she only had 2 points the whole game. And it was just on that, it was on a breakaway layup, like a steal. It was a turnover, and then they lobbed it up court to CC, and she got a fast break layup. But she also had 10 assists, was guarded the exact same way as she's been all year. She had someone on her at all times. And people talk about why her 3-point percentage is in the 30s. And they're like, well, I wonder why that is. Like, because somebody's like in her face all 90 feet on the court. So, I mean, every shot she puts up is highly contested. And they weren't far off. Like, she had a lot of in and out shots. But as a shooter, as a former shooter, a guy that was all he could do, is shoot. Sometimes it's just not going to go in. Sometimes the ball is just not going to go in. And that was what happened Saturday night. Her shot just wasn't falling. I mean, it looked good at times. It just wasn't falling. But she did have 10 assists. She created shots for her teammates. Angel Reese had a really good game, and she had a lot of offensive boards. She had, she had a very Angel Reese game, but like only one of those rebounds was off her own miss. I mean, she played a very good game. I mean, but Arike Ogunbowale, who ended up being the MVP, obviously, was phenomenal. She had a couple of really bad passes, but that led to turnovers. But that was the only bad thing I could say about her. She played ISO and dropped it like in the face of whoever was guarding her more times than I could keep up with in the second half. If and so basically, you see that and you see the outcome. You see the WNBA All-Star team beating Team USA, and it makes you realize that it was never about fielding the best team, which is the reason that they said that they left Caitlin Clark off. It was about fielding the best team, not drawing numbers, basically, or viewers. Well, you clearly didn't field the best team because you left Arike and Goombawale off. You could have knocked off 10 other players probably that she was better than Saturday night. And like how if I'm the committee, plus Team USA, you're so far and away better than everybody else anyway. Why not have some players on there that is going to draw viewers, but are not just that. I mean, they're really good ball players. You're telling me Caitlin Clark isn't going to make a difference? She's faster than anybody out there on the court. Watching her move, she's in better shape and is faster than anybody else they have on the court. Either team USA, WNBA All-Star, didn't matter. CC was the fastest player on the court. No one. I mean, people were on her guarding her, but up and down the floor, no one can match her. As a facilitator, as a rebounder, Angel Reese, as a one-on-one scorer, who Caitlin Clark says is the best one-on-one player in the league. I'm finding a way to get all three of those players on that team because Caitlin Clark, obviously the biggest star in the game. Angel Reese, a star. I mean, like her or not, a star, a clear-cut star, good, solid player, and is going to bring viewers as well. And it's just a good, solid player you want on your team. And Arike and Goombawale, maybe I think I've gotten it right as many times as I've said it by now on the show, is going to get you buckets. How in the you find a way? All three of those players better be on the 2028 Olympic squad, or somebody needs to get fired. Like, I don't care if Diana Taurasi is going for her 996th Olympics. Like, find a way to get those three on the squad next time around. They should have done it this time. All three should have been on the team this time. And it would have made Team USA better. Now, that team's still going to go on. They took care of Germany in their tune-up game before the Olympics start Friday. I don't know when their first game is, but I know the Olympics start Friday. So Team USA is going to win. They're going to win easy. But you got to find a way to get those three on next time around, because if it's just BS that they're not. Did you see any of the game, or did you see any highlights of it?
I just got to see highlights. I wish I would have been able to tune in at least for the second half. Second half of that game. I completely forgot about it. But from the highlights I've seen, it looked like it was a pretty fun game to watch. I mean, you got to see Caitlin Clark dishing it to Angel Reese, and like you said, Angel Reese had a pretty good game. She was shooting better from the field. She wasn't putting up a lot of misses. So,
Well, she
looked like
was.
Caitlin.
She took some she took a couple of threes, some outside shots. She has no business, Angel Reese, that is shooting from the floor. She has no business. Her shot is as broke as a homeless person. She has no business taking a shot outside of the cylinder, basically, underneath the basket. But for what she is, she's very good at it. But she did have a very good game. I had to correct that, because she took a few shots and you're like, what is she doing? But anyway,
I
go
meant
ahead.
like shots around the basket, but yeah, it looked like it was a pretty fun game to watch. I was disappointed to see that Caitlin Clark only had 4 points in the game, but she looked like she was running circles around those Team USA girls and dishing out some pretty great passes and helping out her teammates. So still think she had a pretty good game, but yeah, I did not get the chance to watch it.
Yeah, it's comparing that to the NBA All-Star game. I will take that. Now, you're not going to get to do this format every year. You're only going to get to do it every 4 years, assuming there's not another pandemic, which you can't assume anything these days.
No,
But it was far and away a much better game than the NBA All-Star game. And I hope they get creative with it and just find a way to make it this compelling because they nailed it. I mean,
Yeah.
the WNBA has done nothing as they've done. I can count on one hand the things that they've done right. Not only since CC joined the league, but since its inception, you know. But they nailed this. I mean, they knocked this out of the park. I'm happy for the league. I'm happy for the women. It was very fun. It was very fun to watch. I was highly entertained, and I loved it. Because there's storyline there, and you see Diana Taurasi talking to her teammates, just basically saying, "This effing sucks." We got to stay ready, something along those lines. It wasn't that verbatim, but the it's interesting because you've been trash talking these players before they got or before they even got drafted.
Yeah.
Now it wasn't anything egregious or anything like that, but still you've been trash talking these players and bad mouthing them some. Like I said, nothing egregious, anything like that, but nothing welcoming either. And so to see them dish it back to you and beat you is entertaining stuff. So it's compelling. It was, I mean, there was serious storyline there, and it had all the makings of television with a high rating. And I think it got about 3+ million viewers, or I think it had 3+ million viewers this game. So storyline will do that. And yeah, a lot of people were into this one. I was, and it was great to watch. And I loved every bit of it from start to finish and then some. So I'm happy for the league, happy they get a break. I'm sure Team USA will win gold. I'm not going to watch much of them just because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. Angel Reese isn't on the team. Arike Ogunbowale isn't on the team, so I'm not interested. It's a much more interesting team with those three on it, and all three are good enough to play on that team, and all three bring something different to the table. CC facilitator, Ogunbowale scorer, just pure one-on-one score, and Angel Reese is going to get you rebounds. She's going to give you defense. She's going to give you. I mean, she's going to give you toughness. She's going to give you feistiness, competitiveness. All three bring something to the table, and all three should be on on the Olympic team next time around. They will be, but they should have been on it this year. Um, yeah, Colin Coward made a point last week. He finally safe take Colin took a seat and actually gave an honest take when it came to Caitlin Clark, basically saying you're wanting her to pay her dues, but she's paying all the fees. Regarding I mean, she's the reason you got charter flights, Caitlin Clark, that is. So it's been weird to see just the snubbing of Caitlin Clark and Arike and Goombawala getting snubbed again should get more talk, and it will after her performance in that All-Star game. But it's something that's intriguing, it's something to keep an eye on, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to more WNBA action after the break if it stays this interesting, and I'm sure it will. All right, so let's talk the Olympics. Um, okay, finally I got a clock there. All right, opening ceremony Friday. How much of the Olympic Games are you going to be watching this weekend? Are you going to check it out? You're going to be out of state, so how much are you going to get to watch, if any? Because you're going to be doing all kinds of stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably 0% chance that I'll watch any of it. I'll see some highlights, but yeah, I probably won't watch any of it live. So, I'm a yeah, I'm uncle's place. It pretty much stays on a certain news provider at volume 100. So it's either that or golf. So
Well, that sounds like a good weekend. You've got what 2.5 weeks of it to catch up on, and you're not going to miss any of the final stuff, really. At least some of the big time stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know that you're going to miss much. I'm sure I'm going to go for a run. Of course, I'll actually be house sitting for your parents, so I will watch some of it, but I'm gonna go to work, go for a run Friday, and then shower, and then I'll check out opening ceremony. And that'll largely be what I watch on television for the next 2.5 weeks, the Olympic Games. And then just living my life in between then. But I'm gonna check out as much of the Olympics as I can. Let's talk a little bit about the Team USA men's basketball. So they squeaked by little South Sudan in their exhibition. They kind of had it. They had a tough go with Germany here in the last couple of days. What are our thoughts of Team USA heading into the Olympics?
Struggling.
Is Yeah, well, is it? I think it's a good combination of these guys trying to find a way to gel together, and the fact that just the competition is caught up.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect combination. I mean, these guys are still the heavy favorite, but I don't know. Chances Team USA doesn't win gold. Let's just say that. If you had to put a percentage on it, what would you say?
I don't know, I'd probably give them like a 15% chance not to.
15?
Yeah.
I think you can go as high as like 25. I think you can go as high as 25. Uh, I don't know, man. If everybody's playing, because not everybody's playing. Like we haven't seen anything from Kevin Durant and company. Uh, I don't know what we're going to get from him, but I wouldn't think he'd take up a roster spot just to take up a roster spot.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a more dialed in team when when the games count. But I think you can go as high as 25, but I'll say 20. I'll say a 20% chance the field takes it over Team USA. All right, so LeBron James will be the flag bearer for the United States at opening ceremony. Anyone more deserving of that than LeBron? I mean, he's a multi-time Olympic gold medalist. He at 38 years old came back to have one last go with USA basketball before he rides off into the sunset. I mean, fitting, right?
Yeah.
Appropriate.
I would say so. He's
Yeah.
39 though. It's
Oh, he is 39. He is 39. He's my age. I should know that. I'm old. I'm 2 months older than him, so I should know that. Yeah, I misspoke there. 39 years old, so makes it even more impressive. Aging like fine wine, the wine that he likes to sip on. LeBron James, that is. All right, so let's talk a little bit about SEC Media Days before we get out of here. Um, First of all, how many SEC teams do you see making the college football playoff, which is now 12 teams, right? 12 teams going into this season. It's going to be a
yeah.
12-team college football playoff. How many SEC teams do you see making it? I'll do this. We'll put the betting odds at 4.5. Are you
I'll take
taking
it
the
over.
over? You're taking the over.
I'm saying minimum 5 teams.
Minimum 5. You're going to have some automatic qualifiers too, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you think 5 SEC teams are going to get there?
Yeah, if they have the same years that they've had in the past, man, I think 5.
Okay, well, who's going to be the 5? I'm going to go 4. I'm not going 5. If it's anything like it was last year, and I think it will be again this year, I'm going to go 4, and I'll name the teams:
Okay.
Georgia, no particular order.
Okay.
Georgia, Alabama. Ugh,
I wasn't even gonna say Alabama. I throw in Ole Miss in there.
well, I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh.
Georgia, Alabama, Texas, because they are SEC now. Oh, gosh,
Yeah, I don't see them being as hot as what everybody thinks they're gonna be. But yeah.
yeah, the top 12. I mean, I'm going to go Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss.
Okay.
Who else do you have? I mean, you got those 4, right?
Yeah. I'd say those 4. And dude, if Mizzou does their shit, I mean, they're gonna be in there too. If they have the same year that they've had the last 2 seasons, they'll be in there.
They would have made it last year. They
Yeah.
would have been a top 12 team last year.
But I would go for, I mean, maybe LSU this season. Who knows? Of course, they have a couple of question marks, one being their quarterback, but
But
who knows?
it's
I'm saying four for four solid, and then there's going to be a fifth one make its way in there. I'm saying five teams.
okay. If you had to, I'm going to stick with four, but you make a compelling case for five. If you had to pick a fifth one from the SEC, who would you say? I would probably go. I would probably go LSU just because I it's
Yeah.
Brian Kelly and it's LSU. I think they'll find a way. No, I mean they won national championships no matter who their quarterback was. So
Yep.
I mean, with the exception of Joe Burrow, who was
Tennessee could mess around and get in there too. I mean,
be right. I yeah, don't know about that because they're going to have quite a bit of turnover too. But they got some
yeah.
really good. They've had a really good class the last several recruiting classes too. So you're almost convincing me, but I'm going to stick with four. Okay, so
A&M,
let's
of course, has all the athletes to do it, but
yeah,
who knows what they're coaching?
who are we talking about?
A&M
Okay, I was like, I don't even know who. I'm not throwing A&M in
in
there.
Arkansas, and no, it's playing.
Yeah, we're clearly playing at that point. Speaking of
Maybe
Arkansas, what are
maybe if
we?
they let 40 teams in the playoff,
They're not top 40. What are you talking about?
even then it wouldn't be that. No,
They wouldn't be top 400.
they'd have to be. There's not that many teams in the
I'm
ACC.
taking the UCA Bears over the Arkansas Razorbacks when it comes to the college football playoff. Uh, at this point. All right, so we're clearly high on the Hogs coming in this season, but let's get out of here on this. What do we think of Pittman's embrace the hog talk and all the Petrino questions he fielded at SEC Media Days? I know you didn't watch it or keep up with it, but I'm sure you had to see some of that. What do you think of
Seen
embrace the
very
hog?
seen very little of it. Yeah, he better be embracing the hog and hoping everything works out for him this season and he makes it to a bowl game and doesn't get fired before Thanksgiving. So he better be embracing it hardcore.
Well, I think he wants everybody else to embrace it as players. I think is what he's getting at. And I'm fine with what he said. I don't. I like how he answered the Petrino questions. People have jumped all over Sam Pittman ever since the way last season went. I mean, you can understand the frustration
Yeah.
with how it's gone
The drop off, man.
the
Yeah.
last really couple of years. Um, at least you won a bowl game the year prior to last season, but last season was just a disaster. But I mean, for how he handled it, media day, I have no problem with how he handled it. I like Sam Pittman. I'm rooting for him. Hope he does well. I just don't think he will, and I just don't think they have the talent in the toughest conference in college football. I don't see it happening. So I'd love to embrace the hog, but unfortunately for Sam, I don't think he'll be embracing the Hogs much after next season. But we'll find out what happens as it plays out. But we got the Olympics going on this week, so we're going to focus on that this and next week. And until then, we'll see y'all next time. This is your host, Graham Powell.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.